Section 4.2 Possessed by Evil Spirits. In this section, I would like to revisit a topic we began discussing earlier, the nature of reality. I will be exploring some complex ideas, but I assure you that there is a clear point to be made, and I will guide you toward that understanding as we proceed. For now, I ask for your patience as we delve into these concepts. Building upon the interpretation of unclean spirits, not merely as paranormal entities, but as states of consciousness, we are led to important questions surrounding moral self-governance and individual responsibility. This is a central theme in this book, and it is precisely why I began writing it. The key question we must confront is whether an individual genuinely controls their thoughts, or if there are external influences that gradually begin to control the individual. This perspective provides a new lens through which to view the Bible, raising important questions. When Scripture speaks of possession, is it referring to the way humans can become vulnerable to ideas and emotions that, once embraced, take on a life of their own, appearing as external forces? Or do these influences originate from within, as a byproduct of free will? From this standpoint, the demonic could be seen either as an external force or as a set of internalized thoughts and emotions that corrupt the mind, reshaping one's worldview and altering interactions with others and with the divine. Alternatively, could it be a combination of both? Many would argue that ideas are primarily shaped by our interactions with the external world. Our social, cultural, and environmental surroundings leave lasting impressions that mold our thoughts and perspectives. In this view, ideas do not arise from nothing but are formed through engagement with the world around us, making them, in a sense, products of external influence. The mind, then, becomes a vessel continuously absorbing, interpreting, and reshaping the inputs it receives. However, this empirical explanation, where ideas are solely the product of sensory data and external stimuli, fails to account for an intriguing phenomenon. Similar ideas and moral archetypes appear across disparate, unconnected cultures, each carrying a shared symbolic significance and ethical meaning. This pattern challenges the notion that ideas are purely shaped by external influences and aligns more closely with the Christian concept that the law is written on the heart of humanity, suggesting a deeper, intrinsic connection to universal truths. Jeremiah chapter 31 verse 33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. Romans chapter 2 verse 15. Which show the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, and their thoughts the mean while accusing or else excusing one another. Philosophers from Plato to Immanuel Kant have long argued that ideas are not merely the byproducts of neural processes or sensory accumulation. They suggest that ideas offer glimpses into a realm of ideals, an objective reality beyond the material world. For Plato, true ideas, or forms, exist in a dimension of perfect abstraction, accessible not through the senses, but through contemplation and recollection. The human mind, he contended, can connect with these forms, which exist independently of the sensory world yet strongly influence human thought and perception. To put it simply, there are inherent understandings beyond the sensory world that point to a more perfect existence than the one we currently experience. In line with this perspective, psychiatrists like Carl Jung suggested that the human psyche contains universal archetypes, innate, inherited patterns of thought that shape perception and the formation of ideas. Jung proposed that these archetypes are fundamental structures within the human consciousness, emerging spontaneously to provide symbolic frameworks through which new concepts and visions are formed. Figures such as the hero, the wise old man, or the dragon to be defeated appear consistently across cultures and narratives, implying a universal structure of thought that influences human perception in similar ways across time and geography. These recurring archetypes encapsulate ideas that resonate with shared themes in the collective human experience. To put it simply, while individuals undoubtedly generate ideas, it is equally true that certain ideas, particularly those rooted in truths or universal principles, can come to possess individuals, shaping their lives, guiding them toward a higher purpose, and influencing the trajectory of entire societies throughout history. Yet we must also ask, what about forces that pull us in the opposite direction, those which distort truth and lead us astray? Are these forces eternal as well? The biblical narrative offers a clear answer. No. Such forces, it suggests, were introduced into the world as a byproduct of free will and will ultimately be overcome by the triumph of God's truth. But this raises an even deeper question. Who first introduced these forces? Is humanity the originator, or does the responsibility lie with Satan? The answer to this question hinges significantly on one's interpretation of Satan, whether he is viewed as a literal, personal being or a symbolic representation of the chaos and rebellion inherent in creation. This debate inevitably leads us back to the broader issue of moral self-governance and individual responsibility. Are we the architects of our own actions, guided by free will and reason, or do external forces, whether divine or malevolent, control us from beyond our understanding? But I digress. These questions, while central to human experience, will be explored in greater detail as we progress. For now, I merely offer these reflections as the musings of a mortal. Rest assured, however, that I will share my perspective on this matter toward the conclusion of this volume.